Hi everyone, I'm Lucia. Welcome to my channel. This summer I'm moving to Florida to do the Disney Cultural Exchange program. This is something I've been dreaming of doing for years. Like, as soon as I found out about it, I was like, that is literally my dream. So I just can't believe it. I just can't believe that I am actually moving to Florida to work at Disney. For anyone who doesn't know what the Disney Cultural Exchange program is, it's basically when uni students get the opportunity to live and work in Disney World for a summer. And then of course the perk is that you get to go to all the parks for free while you are on your program. It's literally a dream come true. Like, who does not want to live in Disney World for a summer? I mean, you'd have to be crazy. I've always loved making little videos and editing them, so I've always known that when I'm out in Disney, I'm gonna want to properly vlog and properly go for it with all my videos. So if you're really interested in that, then I am going to be posting from start to finish the whole program, and yeah, I'm so excited. In this video, I'm going to do a quick chat just about the application process and just explain like how I've managed to get on the program and how far I've come, because it was a long process. I applied last June, June, early July, I want to say. So stage 1 is applying through a company called Yummy Jobs. For anyone who doesn't know what Yummy Jobs is, it is basically the middleman between you and like Disney. So you have to apply through Yummy Jobs first in order to get onto any program, any Disney program, any Universal program. Quite a lot of the international summer programs you apply through Yummy Jobs. You apply through Yummy Jobs and you start with a cover letter and a CV. So I'll do a quick rundown. So for my CV, I want to say first, like, this was the same all the way through. I didn't change my cover letter and CV when I got to the Disney application process. I just kept it all the same. So you want it to be good from the get-go. Basically what I'm trying to say is Yummy Jobs is as important, if not more important, than your Disney interview. Like, you have to put your best foot forward from the start. For my CV, I kept it quite basic. I just had my most recent job and then down to like my least recent / least relevant kind of thing. But I will say, if you've done any work for Disney before, or if you have, like, let's say you want to go out there and do lifeguarding, then you might want to put that you have lifeguarding experience at the top. Or yeah, so if there's a role you really want to do, like let's say you really want to be in merch, then you might want to put any merch experience you have right at the top. But I think it's pretty good to definitely just show all of your different skills, because on the program you're going to be using a lot of different skills. I will also say, obviously, if you've done a college program, if you've done any summer programs before where you've moved away and worked away abroad, then I would put that near the top as well, just because it's most relevant and probably will help you get onto the program, because they know that you're used to moving away from home, stuff like that. Then for my cover letter, I really just explained why I wanted to do the program. I didn't dwell too much on like, I'm a massive Disney fan, but I did explain that my reasoning for wanting to go on the program is to be able to create magic moments and create special moments for people. I talked about how, like, some of my experiences and said how I want to be able to do that for other people. Explained like that I really understood Disney as a brand, but I didn't go just, I love Disney. Know that you love Disney and they know you want to do the program. You just have to explain why you would be best fit for it and why it's something you want to do. What experience do you want to get out of it? Stuff like that. Kind of what I did. And I also sort of explained because I'm doing animation as a degree, so I sort of brought my degree into it and sort of explained how it would help me in my degree in the future. I do think that's quite an important thing to do, because they want to know why the program's going to benefit you in your future. So then I heard back from Yummy Jobs and they basically were like, yay, well done, we want to have an interview with you. And I was like, yay. So I booked in my interview, and I booked it, like 2 weeks after I think I got the email, because I just wanted like time to prepare. I think I was working a lot as well, and I was like, realistically, I don't want to rush into this, like, it's fine to take my time. So I did pick like 2 weeks, but I do know people who just went in straight and did it and still got on, so that's a personal choice. So I booked in my interview, and then they also send you like a slide. Well, it didn't actually get sent to me. And then in my interview, they were like, did you watch the slide? And I was like, I didn't get sent one. But they will send you a slide and you have to watch that for your interview. It's not a big deal if you didn't. I was like, what? I didn't get one of those. And then she sent it to me and then I watched it and it was fine. It's basically a big video being like, this is how much money you're going to make. The program does cost money, etc. Like, they're just explaining to you, like, this is going to cost money before you go further into the application process kind of thing. And also they just explain like where you'll be living, which is in Flamingo Crossings, if anyone knows. I will be talking about that more though, I'm 100% sure, and showing you when I live there. So stuff like that. And then, yeah, so then you book in your interview. Interview question. The Yummy Jobs interview is, I would say, not more important, but you have to be more like trained up for it, in my opinion. Because you know, like, the set questions. One thing I'd recommend doing is going on to, like, joining a Facebook group for people who are also applying in the summer that you're applying for. Because what people did was they were sending in questions they'd heard people had and questions they were getting, and that was really helpful. But the main ones that is very much like known that everyone was going to get were, how will you deal with the heat? Why do you want to do the program? What do you want to get most out of it? How will you deal with a roommate? If a customer had a complaint, how you deal with it? I actually didn't get that, but I have got it written down here. And I was obviously prepared for it, and other people obviously did get it, so it's still one to think about. What work experience do you have that will help you on the program? What role would you like? And which character do you relate to most, which I didn't actually get asked. A few people did, and I was so sad that I didn't, because I was going to say Olaf, because I'm adaptable and I love the heat. But I didn't get to say it. I was so sad, because I was so excited. I was like, wow, I've really got the best answer. I didn't get to say it. So I'll go through. So how do you deal with the heat? I just explained, I think this is a personal thing. Like, if you have any experience, then you can talk about that. But I was just like, I've been going to Florida my whole life at this time of year. I know what to expect. I'll keep myself hydrated. I'll have a big breakfast. All those kind of things that you know are going to help you have your electrolytes, whatever. But I mainly just said, like, you know, I do know what to expect. And then why do you want to do the program? This is just similar to cover letter. You know, I just explained why I wanted to do the program. That's very personal to you. What do you want to get out of it? I think I talked about my degree. And just working for Disney. Like, it's an amazing experience. It's such a big company and you could learn so much, you know, about customer service and everything. How you deal with a roommate. I've already lived in uni halls, so I just talked about how I was used to, like, living in uni halls, living with new people I'd never met before from, like, all over the world. What work experience do you have that will help you on the programme? Just talked about all my work experience, you know, hospitality stuff. What role would you like? I think I actually said merch. No, I did say merch. Yeah, because I did want to do merch. Obviously, I didn't get merch. My dream was merch at Emporium. But I didn't get it. But there's still hope. There's still hope that I could be in, you know, Magic Kingdom. Like, I could be working at a Princess Restaurant or character dining. That'd be so cool. Or Ohana. Ohana would be so cool. Anyway, right, let's not get sidetracked. But Ohana would be so cool. Imagine working with Stitch. That would be iconic. Yeah, so, yeah, I went into my interview and I pretty much was like this. No, I didn't have my ears on. But I had, not him, but I had my little Stitch you actually can't see, just in the corner. Yeah, white background, Stitch in the corner. Didn't have my ears on, but I had, like, I didn't have this top on, but this would have been fine. Just a black top. And was just, you know, pretty smart, pretty simple, nothing crazy. You want to present yourself well. And my interview was really nice. Everyone was interviewed by different people. Well, not everyone, but there was like 10 different people and it just depended who you were going to get. And the lady who interviewed me was really nice. There wasn't a lot of chit chat. It was very much like, here are the questions. Have you got any questions? That's the thing. Always have a question. Always have at least a question or two questions to ask them. The obvious one is, when are we going to hear back? What's the next stage kind of thing, which is one you can always ask. And then I can't remember what other things I asked. I think, I asked about if we could have multiple roles on the program, because I was really confused about how that worked, because I'd seen loads of people in loads of different costumes and I was really confused. Like, do we get one role or do we have multiple roles? The answer is you get one role, so I'm a seater, but people swap shifts a lot, so you can work in different locations. So I could be a Sita in Animal Kingdom for a day if I wanted to, kind of thing. So that's the answer, anyone who's interested. And then stage 4, exactly a month later, we heard back from Yummy Jobs. Now, this was traumatizing for me, because basically everyone was on the group chat saying, oh my god, I've heard back, I'm on to the next bit. So I was like scrolling, refreshing my emails like crazy, and everyone had screenshotted their emails and sent them into the group chat. So I was like, I knew exactly what to expect, and it said like, congratulations, you're on to the next stage, whatever. Anyway, I opened my email and it basically just didn't look like everyone else's. I literally didn't even read it. It just didn't look like everyone else's, and I just burst out into tears. My boyfriend was hugging me, my dad was hugging me. I was like, I didn't get on it. I was so sad. My dad was like, can I read the email? I was like, yeah. I gave my phone to him. He was like, it literally doesn't say that you haven't. It literally says that you're still in the process. I think I basically got shortlisted. I was one of like 3 people who had this random email, but it was basically like, you'll find out in 5 days instead of right now like everyone else. It was really weird. It was like, oh, well, by the way, you're going to find out soon. You're still in the process, but everyone else, I didn't say everyone else found out, but obviously I knew it, everyone else had found out. Then on the 24th of September or the 22nd, I then found out that I did get onto the Disney program, well, onto the next stage, and that I did get onto the Disney interview. By that point, I kind of like come to terms with that. I was like, I'm not going to get on, and like, it is what it is, but I got on anyway, so yay. So yeah, then I got an email 22nd of September to say I did get on. We then signed up to a thing called Docs, where they basically put on loads of information. I had to like send them loads of information about myself. I had to apply through Disney, all that kind of stuff. Then Disney review your application. Then I had my interview. Then I booked in my interview, Mine was on the like 12th of November, I think. So it was kind of like a month. Wait. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like a month in between-ish that you have like a next stage, I would say. That's kind of the vibe. That's kind of the thing the recurring thing that was the case. So yeah, I had my interview, my Disney interview. Once again, it just was so magical. We went to the Disney headquarters. We got to see the big sparkly Mickey Mouse. I also got to meet loads of people on the program, because loads of people had their interviews on the same day. Like, a lot of us had interviews on the same day. So it was really nice. I got to meet everyone, the only thing I was worried about was going out there and like getting lonely and not making any friends. But literally 5 minutes into meeting everyone, I was like, this is not going to be a problem. Everyone who does the program is so nice. Like, you think everyone just wants to create magic. Everyone's there to have a good time. And everyone was so nice. So I wouldn't worry about that if you're worried about making friends, because genuinely, my experience so far is that everyone's been really nice. Got to meet everyone, and then we had to sit around Hammersmith, to be honest, until the afternoon for people who had their interviews in the afternoon. Then I went in, I had my interview with a guy called Steve. He was so nice, and he just had a chat with me. He really just had a chat with me. I would just say go in confident, chill, wear something smart, but just, you know why you want to do the program, just talk to them about it. Obviously, always ask them a question. I think that's really important. But yeah, it was so chill. We literally just had a chat. I told him I did animation. He started telling me about this book he was reading about female anim. He was so chill. He was so nice. And then on the 3rd of December, I found out I got on. Yeah. And now I'm on to the program. And it's currently the 31st of March. I'm moving in about 2 months, so that is actually crazy. I can't believe it. But I'm so excited. I'm literally could not be more excited. Let me know if you have any questions about the application process, because I will be answering them in the comments. And if you want to see more magic and you want to follow along my Disney journey and my cast member journey, which I'm so excited about, then follow, because I have so much exciting content coming up. Thank you for watching.